Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Wednesday, the 8th of February. With Robert Murray McShane, we continue reading through Genesis, today chapter 41, following on from yesterday, where Joseph in prison tells the dreams or interprets the dreams of a baker and the wine steward of the king, and he asks the wine steward, when you get released, please mention me to the king, get me out of prison. The wine steward is released and completely forgets about Joseph. Chapter 41 begins, when 2 full years had passed, Pharaoh had a dream. And I thought about that, 2 full years. Now Pharaoh has a dream, can't interpret it. At that point, the wine steward says, oh, I remember there was this Joseph character, and they call Joseph, and he's able to interpret the dream, and he ends up being made the second in charge in Egypt. But I thought 2 full years passed. Why did that happen? And as I thought about it, sort of speculation, this isn't in Scripture. Scripture doesn't give us an answer. God doesn't tell us why it took two years, or why the wine steward forgot about it and only remembered 2 years later. But I thought, had the wine steward remembered immediately and had Joseph released from prison, chances are Joseph would have gone off on his life and ended up doing something else. So when the famine came, nobody would have found him. The wine steward could have said, 2 years ago there was a chap who interpreted the dreams, he's been released and he's gone. How can we find him? And so it might well have been that Joseph needed to stay where he was, so that when the hour came that he was needed, he would be available. God would be able to use him and put him in charge of Egypt and fulfill all the promises God had made all along. And it just made me think, God's timing is always right. We don't always get it, and sometimes we have to speculate, like I've just done. Why was it 2 years? Often we won't know, but we've just got to keep trusting. God, you are in control. You do love us. You are working your plans out, and that we can trust. So be encouraged when things aren't going the way you think, particularly when it's taking longer than it should, and there's frustrations and concerns and all sorts of worries. We can fall back on Joseph and say, 2 years plus more in Joseph's life to work out God's plan. So we trust God and know that he will work his purposes out in his time, for his glory, and in ways that will be best for us ultimately. That's a confidence we have in the God of Scripture. Be blessed.